We are team number 1, and this is our ISO 9000 presentation. Background on ISO 9000, it was born from the union of two organizations, the International Federation of the National Standardizing Association, established in New York in 1926, and the United Nations Standards Coordinating Committee, which was established in 1944. In October 1946, delegates from 25 countries meeting in London decided to create a new international organization of which the object would be to facilitate the international coordination and unification of industrial standards. The new organization, ISO, officially began operations on February 23rd of 1947. Because international organizations for standardization would have different acronyms in different languages, IOS in English, OIN in French, its founders decided to give it also a short all-purpose name. They chose ISO, derived from the Greek isos, meaning equal. ISO is the world's largest standards developing organization. Since 1947, ISO has published more than 18,500 international standards, ranging from standards for activities such as agriculture and construction, through mechanical engineering to medical devices to the newest information technology development. Some ISO standards: to make development, manufacturing, and supply of products and services more efficient, safer, and cleaner; to facilitate trade between countries and make it fairer; to provide governments with a technical base for health, safety, and environmental legislation and conformity assessment; share technological advances and good management practice; to safeguard consumers and users in general of products and services; and to make life simpler by providing solutions to common problems. History of ISO series. Pre-ISO 9000. During World War II, there were quality problems in many British industries, such as munitions, where bombs were exploding in factories during assembly. To solve the problem, factories were required to document their manufacturing procedures. The standard was CS 5750, and it was known as Management Standards because it specified what not to manufacture, but how the manufacturing process was to be managed. In 1987, the British government persuaded the International Organization of Standardization to adopt BS 5750 as an international standard. The international standard was named ISO 9000. ISO 9000. The family of standards and guidelines. It was published in 1987. The emphasis of standards was placed on conformance to the procedures rather than the management process. The standard was updated in 1994 to emphasize quality assurance through prevention of the problem in the first place. ISO 9000-2000 Quality Management Principles. The new standards have a completely new structure based on 8 principles: comprehensive and fundamental rules for leading and operating an organization. ISO 9001. The first version was introduced in 1987. Model for quality assurance in design, development, production, installation, and servicing was for companies and organizations whose activities included the creation of new products. In 1994, version 2 of the standard was published, called ISO 9001-1994. The difference between the version 1 and 2 are relatively minor. ISO 9001 was updated in 2008 and is known as ISO 9001-2008. The changes are considered minor. ISO 9002 was introduced in 1987. It's a subset of ISO 9001, and it guided the practices of quality assurance in production, installation, and service for 13 years, from 1987 to 2000. ISO 9003 was also introduced in 1987 and is also a subset of ISO 9001. ISO 9004 was introduced in 1994 as the guideline for the application of ISO 9001 to supply the services. The purpose of ISO 9000 series is to facilitate international trade by providing a single set of standards that people everywhere would recognize and respect. The purpose of ISO 9000 is to discuss definitions and terminology and is used to clarify the concepts used by the ISO 9001 and ISO 9004 standards. ISO 9001 provides a set of requirements that, if effectively implemented, will provide you with confidence that your supplier can consistently provide goods and services that meet your needs and expectations and comply with applicable regulations. ISO 9002 is a model for quality assurance in production, installation, and servicing that has the same material as ISO 9001 but without covering the creation of new products. ISO 9003 is a model for quality assurance and final inspection and test covered only the final inspection of finished product with no concern of how the product was produced. ISO 9004 provides guidance to organizations to support the achievement of sustained success by a quality management approach. It is applicable to any organization regardless of size, type, and activity. It is not intended for certification, regulatory, or contractual use. ISO 10011 is guidelines for auditing quality systems. ISO 10012 is quality assurance requirements for measuring equipment, and ISO 10013 is the guidelines for developing quality manuals. So how does ISO 9000 work? You want to develop a quality management system, and you want to either choose gap analysis, that would be if you already have a functioning quality management system, or the quality management system development plan, and you want to choose that if you don't already have a plan and you're starting from scratch. Once you fully develop and implement it, you may wish to carry out an internal compliance audit to ensure that it complies with the ISO 9001-2008 requirements. And once you're sure it's fully compliant, you're ready to ask a registrar to audit the effectiveness of your quality management system. If your auditor likes what they see, they will certify that your quality management system has met ISO's requirements. Quality management principles. Principle number 1 is customer focus. Organizations depend on their customers and therefore should understand current and future customer needs, should meet customer requirements, and strive to exceed customer expectations. Principle number 2, leadership. Leaders establish unity of purpose and direction of the organization. They should create and maintain the internal environment in which people can become fully involved in achieving the organization's objectives. Principle number 3, involvement of people. People at all levels are the essence of an organization, and their full involvement enables their abilities to be used for the organization's benefit. Principle number 4, process approach. A desired result is achieved more effectively when activities and related resources are managed as a process. Principle number 5, system approach to management. Identifying, understanding, and managing interrelated processes as a system contributes to the organization's effectiveness and efficiency in achieving its objectives. Principle number 6, continual improvement. Continual improvement of the organization's overall performance should be a permanent objective of the organization. Principle number 7, factual approach to decision making. Effective decisions are based on the analysis of data and information. And principle number 8, mutually beneficial supplier relationships. An organization and its suppliers are interdependent, and a mutually beneficial relationship enhances the ability of both to create value. Process approach. Quality management systems are made up of processes. ISO 9000 uses a process approach to manage and control how its quality policy is implemented. The process approach also allows companies to control how quality objectives are achieved. The process-based quality management system is explained as a network of interrelated and interconnected processes. This means companies have to identify and manage the processes that make up their quality management system. Because the process approach is very important to the ISO approach, they have identified 12 important processes. The 12 processes are as follows. 1. Quality management process. 2. Resource management process. 3. Training and awareness process. 4. Product purchasing process. 5. Design and development process. Number 6. Production management process. 7. Service provision process. 8. Product management process. Number 9. Customer relation management process. Number 10. Internal quality management audit process. 11 is monitoring and measurement process. 12. Management review process. There are other possible processes that can be used to create your quality management system. Each of the 12 processes has 9 steps that must be explained to help develop their plans. These are developing, documenting, implementing, maintaining, monitoring, measuring, analyzing, controlling, and improving. Once your 12 processes are developed and your quality management system begins to be implemented, you will have the opportunity to improve your processes. Some criticisms of the ISO 9000 is that it's costly and time-consuming. You have lots of documenting that you have to do. There's high volumes of administration required, and the 1994 version doesn't give realistic help to quality and too narrow for common use. Some advantages of the new version is that it goes from procedural-based to process-based, that it applies to all product categories, there's less documentation, and it's compatible with other management systems. One would be the ISO 14001.